starting with audience because we always start with the external. So you have come here under the top, at the top up here on your analytics, it says reports. You come down the left side, and there's a little area here that says audience. This is the basic overview screen. Has everybody seen this screen? Is there anything on this screen that you need me to explain? Does everybody know what visits, unique, page views? The biggest one I always get is bounce rate. Does everybody know what all of these things mean? Remember, this is therapy, so you can ask. So when we get into here, the reason why I love this is because you'll notice as you're looking at your audience here, you have a section into here called behavior. But that's not the one we're focused on right this second. But under audience here, you can actually then look at things broken down by new versus returning, frequency, engagement. But what's great here is you can then add secondary dimensions. And if you haven't done this, you really should, because it allows you to look at the returning visitors. And like this is the one I picked. I picked region. You can also do city. You can do source. You can do just about anything. In the Google world, in case you're trying to learn the lingo, these are called dimensions and these are called. So basically, if you read any of their information, they're going to always guide you by dimensions and metrics. So here, I can analyze and see if my store is in Connecticut and New York, then how much of my returning visits are actually coming from those locations and how many new visits are coming from locations. This is going to be extremely helpful if you're running particular types of marketing, whether it's social or even print. Like one of the great things when we talk about like print, everybody says print's so hard to track. Well, if you know the day a magazine comes out and it usually has a week shelf life, then you can actually even check in your area where you're getting your new visits from there. The other thing I want to mention when you're analyzing data is from here at the top, make sure that you're looking at things like visits versus like this is an e-commerce site. So I was comparing the visits versus the transactions of the audience members to be able to see what my average order was, what my transaction numbers are. So this is, again, from an analysis perspective, if you ran a campaign, you'll be able to turn it around and say, okay, this campaign was successful because we can see that we had this many new visitors from this area and they had this many transactions. Or inversely, we can say, we had the visits, we didn't have the transactions. It may not be a good audience, or is there something that we have to adjust on our website? Okay. Now we move into A is for acquisition. So how did you acquire them from an audience perspective? So this report can be found here under acquisition and channels. And here it just quickly breaks out things by that audience. I added the secondary one. So remember, you have to add it in. So you could say, okay, how many of our businesses are coming from referral? So this client is getting a ton of new visits from referrals, but he's also getting return visits from referrals. I don't like that. That was bothering me. This is something I'm working on fixing with him because it's great that they're returning visitors, but why is there more loyalty to the referring website than to his website? So that's a question. So by looking at the same data under a different heading, it opened my eyes to ask a question. Why am I getting repeat business, but they're starting with the referral? That's an important thing to think about, especially when we're talking about loyalty. So then you have obviously all your other breakdowns. There's a lot here. This is also where, for those of you who are doing social media, you'll be able to get a chance to see how much you're getting a return on investment from your social media. This is not a big social media client, so I don't have that for him, but you will see it breaks down very nicely. So the other thing is I wanted to dig in. So when you click on referral, it actually allows you to dig in and see which site is driving the biggest traffic. So then I dug in, and so this is a wine company, and I picked him because he has such a nice, sizable amount of traffic. And so his audience is more loyal to Wine Searcher than it is to his website. So that now even tells me which website they're more loyal to. So I can actually look at in-depth at that information. As you can see from these sources, you can dig in anytime it's a hyperlink to that next level data. Then you could even add at the top, even though I didn't do it here, up here at the top, you could actually add a comparison of visits and transactions along that data as well. So if you're paying now to advertise on Wine Searcher, which is he's doing, so if you're paying to advertise on the brand's website or something else, then you're really going to know, okay, well, they're loyal to the brand. I understand that. My eyes are opened. That's fine. But now, how much of that is actually transitioning into sales?